Good morning, everyone. It looks like you've been staring at me for 46 seconds while I get this live video thing rolled in. And I am coming to you today live from Battleground, Washington, here at Holding the Hope Central. And I'm so excited that you came and joined me again today. What I'm doing is I'm going through Zoom and doing live video stream on Facebook. It just seems to be a better quality video for you. So I apologize if there's some lag in the beginning. Now, as you know, or may not know, but what I'm doing each Friday morning is I'm talking to you every day. I'm coming at 10:30. I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent because who doesn't need a little bit more consistency in their life? So every day at 10:30, every Friday, I'm going to be coming to you live and talking to you about one of the modules of our CARES Toolkit, www.carestoolkit.com. The CARES Toolkit was created by my good friend, Stephanie Lane, and I, and we created this toolkit. There's 12 modules, and each week I'm talking about one of them. And this week I'm talking about ethics and boundaries for peer supporters. It's one of those things that it can get you fired. There's no doubt about it. You work so hard to get your job. And then, and when I teach my ethics and boundaries class, I always start off with, why are we here? So you can keep your job. I want you to understand that ethics are something that are non-negotiable, and boundaries are something that are really that require technical skills. It's not just something that happens. So I have a full day workshop that I do on ethics and boundaries. And I did it last month as part of our monthly continuing education series. And one of the participants said it was the best ethics class that she'd been to in 5 years. And I take great pride in that. It makes me super happy that I'm able to provide this. I'm only going to be here for 10 or 15 minutes today, so I can't give you a 5-star training, but I can give you some tips. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to attach to this video, you're going to get, because we're going to post this on YouTube and there will be a link, and we're going to send out an email and there'll be a link for you to get these downloads. So this week I'm giving you this because this is going to save your butt tootsie. And these are the National Practice Guidelines for Peer Supporters and Supervisors. If you stick to those when it comes to peer support and doing what peer supporters do and holding your own personal integrity around, I'm a peer supporter and this is how I do peer support, you're going to be great. The other thing I'm going to attach to this 10-minute, 15-minute video is a list of links. And these are the links of videos that I show throughout the one-day workshop. And we don't show videos in the 1 hour module for the CARES Toolkit, but it is absolutely, Beth Gould taught that, and it is based on these national practice guidelines. You can't go wrong. So there's some stuff here's the basics when it comes to talking about, excuse me, oh, my allergies have been bad this season. There's some things that happen when it comes to ethics and boundaries. It's external and internal, okay? So your agency has some ethical expectations that you need to meet. And hopefully they've made that very clear to you about here's what you do and here's what you don't do. Hopefully you've had some training and you've had some external instructions on this some really clear, bright lines around this is what we do and you do not cross this line. For instance, under no circumstances do you ever have any kind of a sexual or romantic relationship with a client. Period. Full stop. There's no qualifications to that. That's just a never do. You never sell anything to a client. You never buy anything from a client. You never enter into any kind of a relationship other than peer supporter. That's it. So that's pretty clear. And those are easy. That's easy, right? But then you can get into some gray areas, and all of a sudden your boss is asking you to do something and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not sure about that. Or suddenly you're you're just so frustrated with your agency because they just don't get peer support. And that leads to burnout. Well, here are some things that I love to talk about, and it's the internal part that drives our ethics and our boundaries. It's the internal part that drives our work. What well, it's our values, right? If you look at what are your values, that's what's going to help you internally set your compass to what is the true north for you, that is ethically. Where do your bright lines come from? They come from your values. Now, yeah, you got to do what you're told, but there's some other things that when it starts to get kind of, you're not sure, you go internal and you look at what are my values? And under no circumstances is that an excuse for you to violate your external boundaries that have been set for you. Well, my values don't allow that. Well, too bad. You lose your job. But one of the other things that I really, really appreciate about values is that we share them. So when it comes to ethics and boundaries, it's not just with regards to your, excuse me, I'm sorry, my nose is running. It's not just with regards to your people that you serve. It also has to do with your coworkers, the people in your life. Boundaries are not just something that you turn off and on when you get out of your car when you're going to see someone you serve, and so up comes the boundaries. No, man, those are something that are inherent in who you are and how you walk in the world. And what sets those boundaries and what helps you set your ethical standards are your values. And you have to know what those values are. Now, I actually have this thing here. That I have my values. I have my values written down. I have my top 5 values. I have my purpose in life. I have my superpower. I have my theme song, so to speak, right? I have all of these things so that I know exactly what my values are. So when I get into a situation where I'm in a lot of pain or conflict, I go back to my values and I go, what's being violated here? And is that something that I need to take? Is that something I need to go, oh yeah, okay, well, okay. Or is that something I need to go, oh, I need to fix that. I need to fix that internally, or I need to fix that externally, make something right. So our values are always what's going to guide us and give us the sense of establishing our ethics. Our ethics and our morals are going to be expressions of our values. And I'm super excited about this because also this month's workshop in March is called Value-Based Peer Support, and I really hope you'll check it out. If you go to our Peer Support Training Center under live events, you'll see you can register for that. But it's such a huge part of maintaining your ethics and your boundaries, because you can't be a successful peer supporter without having some pretty clear boundaries. And the thing about peer supporters and boundaries is that they're different than with clinical people, because peer support relationship is very different than a clinical relationship. That's why peer support is not a clinical service. Your relationship with the person that you're serving is more of a reciprocal relationship. It's mutual. You're both learning, you're both growing. You're bringing your personal story into this. You're coming forward as a walking, living, breathing example of what this person wants to achieve. And just standing there going, hi, I'm your peer supporter and I used to be where you are, is this huge message of hope. And so those boundaries, sometimes we get confused. Like, well, am I supposed to be their friend? It's a friendship based. I don't understand how this goes. And you're not alone. A lot of people get tripped up around thinking that as a peer, I'm a friend. And we're not friends in that we invite people into our Facebook world or into our social media world. We don't. Or that we invite them over to our home. We don't. Or that we introduce our family to them. We don't. But we also open our hearts to them because we know how they're feeling. We know what they're living. We know what's going on. And so we are in a unique opportunity to be able to provide service and to provide support. And so likewise, we're in a unique opportunity to provide problems and pain and damage. So we have to be very careful about how we behave, and we have to have very clear ethics and very clear boundaries. And it comes back to knowing what a peer support is supposed to be doing and not doing. And those are the national practice guidelines that you're going to get a set of. After you download this, you'll be able to download them. And also, I really think that if you are aware of the guiding principles of recovery and what those entail, you will also be able to really find them as I do, as guiding principles for my life and for my values and for my ethics and how do I behave. If I'm confused and I'm like, I am so confused right now, or I'm angry, right? I'm so angry, or I'm so just devastatingly hurt. I can look at these guiding principles of recovery and understand that I can, if I'm person driven, okay, recovery is person driven. I'm going to try to understand where this other person is coming from. I'm going to try to be respectful. I'm going to try to figure out where's the hope in this situation. I'm going to try to figure out who are the peers and allies that I can talk to help me through this. So I use the guiding principles of recovery. And then also in work, you could use the national practice standards to say, okay, I'm walking into this situation and I'm not really sure how it's going to go. What are my top 3 values that I want to make sure are in play here? First of all, peer support is always voluntary. Okay. Second of all, peer supporters are honest. Okay. Peer supporters are transparent and they're strengths focused. Okay, there you go. Now that gives you something you can walk into and go, am I being strengths-based? Am I being honest? Am I being transparent in this conversation that is so difficult? And we can kind of separate ourselves away from the emotions that come into it and that can sometimes get us in trouble. I know wherefrom I speak. Emotions have gotten me into trouble. So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit today about ethics and about boundaries, because this is such a thing. And the other thing is that oftentimes if supervisors don't really know how to, they really don't know how to supervise somebody, then they're not gonna, if they don't understand what peers are, they're not gonna be able to provide much help when it comes to supervision. Okay, so that's all I have to say about ethics and boundaries. But I do want to say, I want to say get well soon to my good friend, Joanne, who is out there, had a little surgery this week. I love you, girl. I hope that I'm sending you healing, love, and light. I hope that you're fantastically well soon. And I just want to say that I've had a hell of a week, and I'm going to do some serious self-care this weekend. And it will involve long drives on country roads and hot springs and lots of sleep. So that's what my weekend's coming up for me. And I hope that you also have a fantastic weekend. And don't forget, right? Stay hopeful.